What's up, I'm Brian here doing another video for you guys, and this time I'm talking about the Transformers Bumblebee movie trailer. I'm going to talk about some of the important things. I'm not going to talk about every single specific scene in the trailer. I'm just going to talk about some of the connections to the original movies, some of the characters, and maybe some of the things that you might have missed. Now, one of the first things I want to talk about is Bernie Mac's voice. If you guys did not know, in the original Transformers film, and I'm not talking about the 1986 Transformers film, in the original one, Bernie Mac's character was the character that introduced Bumblebee to the world, including Sam Witwicky, which was purchasing his first car, which ended up being Bumblebee. In this film, we're kind of going down that road again, but this time it's going to take place in the 1980s because this movie, if you guys did not hear, is actually a prequel set way before the original Transformers film. So that's our kind of first connection is with Bernie Mac. Another connection that I'd like to make is Sector 7, which John Cena's character in the film is going to be one of the Sector 7 agents. Now, Sector 7 was the task force that was mainly, focused on NBEs, which were non-biological extraterrestrials, that being the Transformers. Now, it's kind of interesting to hear about that because in the last night, we actually found out that Bumblebee used to fight in the war on our side. And so it's kind of weird hearing that Sector 7 is all of a sudden going after Bumblebee. Maybe Sector 7 didn't actually know about Bumblebee. Maybe they were kept in the dark about Bumblebee. But I don't know. That's kind of just more of a confusing mess that I don't really like to analyze because it's probably just going to fall apart with the Transformers cinematic franchise because there's already enough that kind of falls apart with it. With the Michael Bay films. Speaking of Michael Bay, this is going to be the first film that's not directed by Michael Bay, but rather Travis Knight, who you guys might recall from Kubo and the Two Strings and Coraline and other movies like that that were full of heart. And you kind of see that with this trailer, because this trailer doesn't focus on a lot of the action, a lot of the fighting, but there's more scenes of Bumblebee at the beach, Bumblebee with Haley just doing whatever. Of course, there's the action and the fighting and the beam, 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 shoot, 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 whatever. I'm focusing on Starscream's gun, which we'll talk about later. I know that was kind of weird, me doing a gun sound like that, but whatever. Anyways, so we're going to. I kind of lost track of what I was talking about. It's cool that we're getting a film that's not as noisy as the Michael Bay films. And this one seems to kind of slow it down and calm down, and it seems like with this film, at least from the trailer itself, we're going to have more slow moments to focus on Bumblebee, and what really helps is that we're going to have a smaller cast of Transformers characters to focus on, and I think that's a good idea. Now, moving on from that, I actually want to talk about some of the characters, and that is the first one, which is Bumblebee. Now, the first thing that I'd like to talk about is, he seems more rounded off compared to the original Michael Bay universe Bumblebee, which I don't think is a bad thing, and I actually feel like he definitely captures more of a Generation 1 look, but he still has some of the elements of the movie franchise. Take, for example, he's got these panels around his leg, kind of like the original movie Bumblebee. He's got this armor on the side of his arm, kind of like the original movie Bumblebee. But one of the big things you'll notice is his face has that kind of round thing, just like the original Bumblebee. And then, I'm talking about from the films. And his chest features the front of the car. Again, much like the original Bumblebee from the movies. But he's definitely shorter, and one of the big things you'll notice between this version of Bumblebee compared to the first movie is that in the first movie, he was the first Autobot you'd ever seen in the Transformers franchise. So they made him really tall, and he looked big and amazing by comparison with Sam and his surroundings and everything. It just looked massive. But in this movie, they go a smaller route, which I think is a better idea. And I kind of like that, because Bumblebee in the original cartoon, he was a mini-bot, so he was very small. He seems to be about maybe twice the size of Hailee Steinfeld. So that's a cool thing, and I really do like that. Someone did point out that the doors on his back seems to mass shift. I'm not sure exactly if they do, because I feel like I can see the windows break off from the doors, but maybe that's just me. Maybe I have to look back at the trailer. My throat's getting sore. And one of the big things I will talk about as well is he does still have a battle mask, but it transforms differently. The original one had these two sides that go down, as well as some extra little parts that would fold around it. For this version of Bumblebee, this one has the two sides that fold down, but also has this middle section that seems to be the main thing as well. You can still see the eyes, and I think the face looks really cool. I still love the original version of Bumblebee and his face mask. I still really love that, but this looks pretty good too. And another thing is that you may have not noticed is that Bumblebee features two different alt modes. The one alt mode we see throughout most of the trailer, and I imagine most of the film, and that is Bumblebee in his Volkswagen Beetle mode. But you will also see in the trailer throughout it, especially in the second to last shot, the shot that's actually before the logo, is that he features more of a Jeep style. He's got the front of the Jeep that forms his chest, and then he seems to have more rivets on his arms. So that's going to be cool to see. I'm not sure if that means we're going to get two different toys of Bumblebee. I imagine not. I feel like they're just going to do the Volkswagen Beetle, but still pretty cool to see. So maybe that's something you may have not noticed. I think that the Jeep version is going to be early in the film, and that's going to be before maybe the Decepticons go after him. And this is the part where I kind of go into story, is that I feel like maybe the story's about Bumblebee coming to Earth, and he's usually fighting with the humans, but now he's going after the big thing, which is the Decepticons who have followed him from Cybertron. So maybe he has not ever faced a Decepticon. Now, I remember in the comics they said that Megatron took out his voice box. I'm not sure if that's still technically canon, because I don't remember them actually mentioning it in the Transformers movie franchise, as far as the actual movies are concerned by themselves. I believe it was also mentioned that the comics aren't necessarily canon, according to the people who actually make the movies. So, and either way, to what extent did he face off with Megatron? Maybe he just stood up against him, or didn't really say where the Allspark was, because originally Megatron tried to get him to speak about the Allspark, and he just refused to. And that's why Megatron ripped out his voice box, was because if he's not going to speak right now, he's not going to speak at all. So I think that's where the story's going to kind of lie with the Autobots and Decepticons, is this is going to be his first time facing off a Decepticon alone, let alone multiple Decepticons, because we know that there's not just one in this movie. I'm going to talk about the Decepticons right now, and the first one we have is Starscream, because that's the actual Decepticon we actually see in the film, or in the trailer, I should say. Now, Starscream looks incredible. He is a lot closer to the original Starscream. I think this is a fantastic looking Starscream, but there's some things that I want to talk about. The first thing that I want to say is he's got the red and blue and mostly gray from the original Starscream. But as well, he's got the cockpit chest, which looks amazing. I love that. He's got the wings on his back, and it seems like he's got bombs strapped to the wings. They don't transform into the arms. Which, speaking of which, what I was getting at with the gun thing is that Starscream's gun seems to form from the lower arm rather than up here. Now, some G1 fans might be kind of upset by that, but I think it's fine, especially when this film seems to be canon to the original movies, which the Starscream in those films had the weapons formed from the lower arm. So it kind of makes sense in that way. But what I really like is the ventilations, the fact that he's got a black helmet, but what I want to talk about is the face. When you see it transform, you can see the red kind of glow through the face, through the pieces, and I think that looks amazing. But one of the things I really did pick up on is that he seems to have kind of somewhat of a shape of the movieverse Starscream, where he kind of has that kind of beak look, maybe? I don't know, I kind of see a little bit of that shape going on right here, which I think is to a lesser degree here and not as noticeable, but it's kind of something to kind of connect with this Starscream. And by the way, to anyone who says, well, it might not be Starscream, this is Starscream. You can tell. The wings on the back, the red and blue mixed in with the gray, the vents on the helmet, you can tell this is Starscream. But one of the big things that I've also noticed is that he's got this kind of pilot mask on his chin, or at least pieces of it, because you can see these cylinders form right here, and I think that's a very nice look. Kind of like how the Last Night Barricade went more of a cop route, where he had a pistol strapped to his side, he had a taser, he even had these brass knuckles, which were hilarious. You know, they went all out with his character, and I think they're kind of doing that a little bit more with these Transformers, including Starscream. Now, with that said, including Barricade, it was announced recently that Barricade is going to be seen in the film. Now, after seeing this trailer and what Starscream looks and Bumblebee looks, I'm not sure if Barricade's going to look exactly like his Generation 1 version. They might just opt out for something that's close to the movieverse style, but still rounded off. I'm not sure. But we'll have to wait and see. He did not appear in this trailer. I feel like he's going to appear in future trailers, because the movie doesn't come out till December. We are going to get a couple more trailers and TV spots. I'm pretty sure Barricade's going to show his face at some point in time. I also feel like maybe in later trailers, because we've finally seen Starscream for the first time, maybe we're going to get a little bit more Starscream in the future trailers, and that I can't wait for. Because Starscream to me looks incredible. And I hope that moving forward with the Transformers films, they go this route. My concern about that is this film a little too late? Because I'm not sure if anyone really cares about the Transformers films anymore, and when they see, oh, the Bumblebee movie, oh, it's probably going to be as bad as the previous films. Now granted, this film is not directed by Michael Bay, but does anyone really care about that? You know, maybe Transformers just kind of stunk to the point where to some people it just can't be saved, and they just think about the Michael Bay films. We'll have to wait and see. Anyways, with that said, I'm trying to look at my notes, seeing if there's anything more that I wanted to talk about. There's not really anything that I can see. So those are some of the things that I have pointed out. Of course, there's a lot more in the trailer that maybe you have spotted. Let me know in the comment section down below. But with that out of the way, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about. Not specifically everything that was in the trailer. So, you know, say what you will. I do like the scene where Bumblebee is at the beach and they just seem like they're going to have a fun time there. I hope it goes well. I hope this film isn't as loud as the previous movies. Not to say that I don't want to see some action, but I want to see Bumblebee actually fight for something. And I want us to kind of relax and sit with Bumblebee. Actually, another thing that I wanted to talk about is it seems like this is also going to show his origins of how he used the radio to kind of speak. Because Haley Steinfeld's character is also talking to Bumblebee about using music as your voice. And I thought it was hilarious that this trailer completely rickrolled everyone to the point where even Bumblebee got pissed off and threw the cassette out. Does that mean that this was the origins of Rickroll? Anyways, with that said, I thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and all those fun doodads. Please subscribe. I know you guys are absolutely tired of hearing, oh, please subscribe to yada yada yada, but I'm almost at 10,000 subscribers, and I think it would be fantastic if I finally got to that point, because it's definitely a goal for me. I'm sorry that I'm kind of fidgety right now. I'm kind of having a nervous breakdown for some reason. I don't know why. And my throat's kind of, right now. I've been talking all day, so I'm gonna go and relax. With that out of the way, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see. Another thing that I wanted to mention, I forgot, is that Bumblebee does hide in the corner, kind of like a child who's scared. I thought that was pretty cool because this is going to be his first interaction with Haley Steinfeld's character. And another thing I forgot to mention was, do I think the film is going to be good? I hope it's good. I really like the design so far. I gotta applaud them on that. I think it's fantastic. My only concern about that, and I already briefly mentioned it, is this film a little bit too late? Because some people just don't care about the Transformers films anymore. This is going to be a smaller film, but it's also going to have a lot of designs that are closer to Generation 1 with a lot of heart, and it just looks incredible. So I'm hoping that a lot of people will get to see this film, and I hope that this film does do well, and Hasbro and Paramount and all of them will realize, okay, this is the route we need to go. We need to go more closer to the original, and not just some kind of random misshaping thing that we're going to call, I don't know, Sideswipe and something like that. You know, something that doesn't really look like the original Sideswipe, but we're going to call them Sideswipe anyways. I don't even hate the movies. I'm just saying I would like to see something that's closer to what people grew up with, and something that's more about the characters of the Transformers and not so much about humans. You know, I don't mind the human element being there, but it's called Transformers for a reason. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping it's good. I don't know how well Travis Knight is going to do, because this is a film for him that's not a part of Laika. So I don't know how new of territory this is going to be, but if I've seen his previous films with Kubo on the Two Strings and Paranorman, if he does something like that, I'm going to be just okay with it. I'm going to be just fine. We'll have to wait and see. My main concern is the audience. Will people get to see it? Because if people don't see it and it doesn't do so well, Hasbro's going to think, well, obviously this is not the right route. We're going to have to go somewhere else, and they're going to completely change everything and do something completely different. I just want the Transformers to look like this. I think this is a good style, good look, fantastic. With that out of the way, I think you guys watch it, and I'll see you guys next time.